Hello and welcome. This is Fireworks. Kogi, the confluence state, is gearing up for another governorship election. Today we continue in that line of conversation as we seek to know just how much of this election is about justice for the deceased. Welcome to your preferred Hard Talk interview program on TVC. I am Bukola Samuel Wemimo. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thank you for staying tuned to Fireworks. Today my guest is son of the late Prince Abubakar Audu, in the person of Mr. Mohammed Audu. You're welcome to Fireworks.
Hi.
It's just a few months to the election. What is the sense that you're getting about the mood of Kogites ahead of this election?
Well, this election seems quite different from other elections we've had in Kogi State. I took part in the 1998 election. I took part in the 2003 election. I took part in the 2007 election, they re-won, the 2011 election, and 2015 as a major player in the Prince Abubakar Audu campaign organization. And I can tell you that people really, unlike the other elections, really desire change across board. What we used to have before was strong people who stood behind their parties. But I can tell you, the need for change is even stronger in APC this time than it is in PDP, because there's a lot of dissatisfaction with the current administration of APC. And APC itself wants to change that and apologize to the people.
Now, if you recall my poser at the beginning of the program, apart from the dissatisfaction with the current administration, to what extent do Kogites feel that Prince Abubakar Audu must be compensated for what happened in 2015?
Well, I don't know if there's any discussion about compensation. You see, what happened was the will of God. He died while he was coasting to victory. And the party at the time had to look into internal party mechanisms for a replacement. So I'm not sure if this governor had done extremely well, that would have been enough compensation for the people, I think, because what the people voted for was good governance and a very good administration. So what will be compensation for Prince Audu would be a fantastic government that would actually meet the yearnings and aspirations of the people.
But if you cast your mind back to 2015, how his running mate was denied the mandate and given to the person who came closest at the primaries, do you feel that what the party did was right in its eyes?
Obviously, we didn't feel right at the time, and that's why we went to court. We challenged that decision in court to say that the ticket was joint, and when the ticket is joint, they rise together and they fall together. Unfortunately, the party or the judiciary at the time did not think so, okay? And they went back to go and shop for another candidate in a process that has already been disposed of. Because I think the step was very faulty, it also manifested in the process that has been set up since that government has been instituted. It's just been faulty, faulty, faulty.
Now, you are the first son of the deceased.
Yes, I am.
Why are you in the race? Is it a sense of responsibility, a sense of duty to carry on what your father couldn't achieve in 2015?
Well, you see, as young men growing up, a lot of us emulate our parents. Some of us, if your father is a doctor, you want to be a doctor. If your father is an engineer, you want to be an engineer. I would think of my father as a very successful politician. And I thought, in his absence, it will be good to emulate this fantastic strides of his. And I thought, with the failure of the system right now, and how Kogi State is in active poverty, I looked around. I was actually hoping that I'll get a better candidate that I could support with the structure of the Audu political family. But unfortunately, I see that governance for a lot of people that are aspiring is about self. And that is not what Prince Audu stood for. He has the support of the people because the people believed in him. Till today, it is the single biggest loss Kogi State has suffered. And I want to find a way to pacify these people in my own way by bringing along with me good governance, qualitative governance, that will be a complete departure from, you hear the bad news every day. You see the problems that is going on every day. I mean, we should be talking about healthcare. We should be talking about quality education. We should be talking about reasonable infrastructure. We should be talking about youth empowerment. We should be talking about a very high level of productivity. We should be talking about innovations. We should be talking about generating resources from our available resources. None of that is going on. What we're discussing, oh, they shot that person, they kidnapped that person, they killed that person. No, the state can't be predicated on bad news. I'm sorry. Things have to change.
So, on a scale of 1 to 2 on your list of priorities,
yes.
Is it a quest for justice to carry on what your father couldn't achieve, or is it the people?
It is more of the people. We are of the people, and we will continue to be of the people. It's a heritage. We are people-oriented. I mean, I told you, if someone else had done a very good job, if the current governor had done a very good job, we will be forced to support him at all costs to ensure that the good job continues. So it's not about me.
I ask this because there are 3 of you in the race from the Audu family.
Yes.
So is it, a sense that if one doesn't get it, the other will get it?
No, it wasn't by design. I think one of them, who's my uncle, ran for the Senate position, and he felt that he was shortchanged, and he still thinks that he could aspire further. Another one, who's my younger brother, who aspired to be a local government chairman, and because that opportunity never came, I think he didn't want to waste his talent. Okay, but I am more into trying to bring good governance to the people. What worries me is the fact that the state where I come from, with abundant resources, I mean, one businessman comes there and he becomes the richest man in Africa. The Ajaokuta still is the biggest in Africa. The coal deposit there is unbelievable. You know, you have the river there, you have dams, about 2 or 3 dams. You know, the agricultural potentials are enormous. Okay, now, how could this state be telling you that they are waiting for 4 billion naira a month from the federal government? It's irresponsible. So,
your brother says there is only one gubernatorial form or ticket by extension. He's optimistic he's going to get the ticket. So, what is the correct position? Are there 3 forms and by extension 3 tickets if you get the ticket? If your family gets the ticket?
Well, I don't know what that means. You might have to ask the APC headquarters, because I know they have various forms of various people. Okay? So,
have you purchased your form?
No, I haven't.
Prince Audu?
I haven't.
Why?
I will in good time. Okay?
Your brothers have purchased their forms?
Well, that's good for them. I mean...
what are your calculations?
I'll keep that to myself. But for sure, I will in good time. And when I purchase the form, I know you would feel from the way the polity in Kogi State will turn around.
Are you, by any chance, complacent? Because there are reports that the presidency, or one part of the presidency, favors you to pick the ticket. Because there are also talks from the national chairman that the Ida axis of Igala, your father's area in Kogi State, must be compensated following the demise of your father at the verge of victory in 2015.
I don't think it's hedged on the demise of my father. You must understand this. What they're saying is, previously, Alhaji Ibrahim Idris, who is from the Ankpa Federal Constituency, was governor for about 9 years. And now, and previously as well, Wada was governor for 4 years. We defeated him in the 2015 election. But owing to that, today we have the national woman leader of the party from that place. Today we have the senator from Dikena. And Ida Federal Constituency absolutely has nothing.
We're talking about the governorship seat, not
Exactly.
the senatorial seat,
Exactly.
not the national women leader seat.
I understand that. But you see, these things must be spread across the area. The people agitate zone by zone, okay? And they feel they should have adequate representation zone by zone. So what I'm telling you is that if ANPA already has a reasonable representation for 9 years, and Dikina currently enjoys very large patronage from both the party and the Senate, either federal constituency has been left without anything. So the people are agitating that, okay, look, let us also be zoned the governorship slots for that area since we have had nothing. That is what they're asking for, nothing else.
So are you the presidency's preferred candidate or aspirant for the governorship seat for the APC ticket?
You know Buhari's presidency. The reason why I respect Buhari's presidency is that it never interferes in internal matters of states, especially politically. It limits itself to its responsibility to the people, but who will become governor, who will run a state or be the leader of a state, the presidency doesn't get involved. So I don't think that the presidency is anointing anybody in Kogi State, including the governor.
But the governor has spared no effort, particularly in the last 4 years, to let people know that he's close to the presidency. He has the presidency's ears and heart and all of that.
You know the difference between patriotism and jingoism. You know that the presidency is very busy doing their work, and the governor tries to align himself with the presidency, taking pictures, and trying to suggest that he has some special relationship with the president. I think the 36 state governors of Nigeria have enjoyed the same kind of relationship with the president. Nothing extra for anybody.
So are you stating categorically, before we end this part of the conversation, that you are not the anointed candidate or aspirant for the Kogi governorship?
I am the preferred candidate of the people. The people prefer
That's
me.
not the question, sir.
I am the preferred candidate of the
Is
people.
Babatunde Irukera picked to be your running mate? Should you emerge the candidate of the APC? Is that why you're taking your time before picking up your phone?
We have not had that kind of discussion at all. Okay? And if Babatunde Irukera is going to be my running mate, it will be based on merit, what he actually can bring to the table. Can he bring the popularity from the West? Okay? If not, we'll have to look for someone else who can actually deliver a people-oriented message to the party. Okay? We do not accept patronage.
You are not the candidate of the presidency for the Kogi governorship seat.
I would not be able to tell you categorically. I've told you I am the candidate of the people.
But that's not the question. You would rather not answer the question.
No, but I tell you something. The presidency doesn't have a choice. The presidency aligns itself with what the people want. Okay? So if I'm the candidate of the people...
Are you preempting the presidency?
I am not preempting them. I just know that they will never go against the people.
Interesting. And you are the candidate for the people?
I assure you that.
Let's make progress with the conversation now. You have said in interviews that the party should be fair in adopting an approach for the primaries.
Yeah.
An interview that shows clearly that you are not in favor of indirect primaries.
Well,
where is the direction of the party where this is concerned?
Well, I was pretty surprised with the recent events that have happened in the party in the last few months, especially as it relates to the election in Zamfara, Rivers, where stakeholders had disputes that had gone all the way to court. The party still went ahead to prescribe indirect primaries. And when this was done, the opposition party simply went to court and stole the mandate. Now, what I am talking about is that I believe that whichever model of the primaries you bring, direct or indirect, we have people on ground to win. However, I'm afraid that I'll be robbed of my victory in courts by the PDP because of the existing court cases. Whether you like it or not, there are two factions of APC in Kogi State. One favored by Governor Bello, one favored by the people. And Governor Bello's faction of the party enjoyed some sort of patronage from the immediate past executives of the national body of the APC. Now, the people's faction is contesting in court that they are the rightful people because of the processes of how they emerged. Okay? Now, haven't gone to court to challenge this, and the matter still subsists in courts. I heard that one of them, who was the chairman, who decided to play regional politics, tribal politics, moved to join his kinsman in Bello. And by virtue of that, being the chairman, they said, okay, the case has been withdrawn. But it's not true. In law, the case must be withdrawn properly by the parties accepting to withdraw the case and filing accordingly. Okay? This has not been done. So how could you possibly suggest to me that there is no existing case? Now, I hear recently that the same people again, after the pronouncement of the chairman, went back to court to say, look, by pronouncing an indirect primaries, you have favored the other group, and we have been deprived of our rights to participate in the process of selection of the next level of leadership. And so we are asking you to please rescind that decision and adopt a method that brings all of us, that all of us can participate in. Bellows School will participate, the People's School will participate, and every card-carrying member will participate. Now, if for any reason the PDP goes to court tomorrow to say, oh, the wrong party chose the leadership, it will hold no water, because this leadership emerged from a very open, transparent process that everybody who was a card-carrying member of the party was involved in. And I think this would be a more sustainable decision for the states. But even if you say we should go in indirect primaries, I don't have any fear. But the only fear I have is the PDP may want to have a free meal on that one.
But there are reports that about 20 aspirants under the platform of the APC are in support of indirect primaries. Aren't they aware of these bottlenecks that you talk about?
Well, you see, this is politics. And sometimes we hire thugs. Politicians go around hiring thugs to do their
Are
bidding.
these aspirants thugs?
They are not aspirants. I don't see any of them as aspirants. People were hired by a particular aspirant to do a bidding. If you go to the party now, not one single person amongst those people has purchased this fund. No intent form, nothing, okay? But they've come out because it's easier said than done, okay? Now, people find various means of trying to perpetuate themselves in power, okay? This also includes using other people, all right?
Are you saying Governor Yaya Bello is sponsoring these people to advance the cause of indirect primaries?
Well, I would not say that to you categorically, but I believe that all of them support and agree with indirect primaries.
So you talk about these grand plans, but there is a problem of non-salary payment in Kogi State. Should you become governor, although you have refused to share how you intend to raise 5 billion internally generated revenue for the state, but how will you raise funds to kickstart business?
You know, first of all, I must tell you, in the history of Kogi State, as far as my memory serves me, there is no government in Kogi State that has a better incentive than this current government, with 2 bailouts, 2 or 3 parish club reforms, other reforms that was done by the federal government, and other financial incentives. I see no reason why we have a backlog of salaries. First of all, if you remember what Captain Wada, the former governor, said, he said the 50 billion bailout was to pay the backlog of salaries before his tenure. And at the time he was leaving, he only owed 2 or 3 months. Okay? Now, why aren't we paying this backlog? Now, the current administration has also fired half of the workforce. So who are you going to be paying with this money? We need to look into this very well.
You've digressed.
No, I'm not. I'm coming there.
Question.
I'm coming there.
But I like the part you're taking.
I'm coming there. Who are you going to be paying when these people have all been fired from their work, from their jobs? Okay, and you still have the same amount being remitted to you in year 2019. Okay, now the 20 billion he got before and the 30 billion now makes it 50 billion. Are we paying ghosts? Okay, now if that had been done, what I'm trying to tell you is that there won't have been an issue of salary backlog that would exceed 2 or 3 months, because the federal government pays its allocation as at when due every time. And with the local government money going to the local governments, the state government money coming to the state governments, and with the workforce heavily reduced, why do you have a backlog? I don't know why I should be dealing with unpaid salaries if I were in this position. That's the reason why I don't think today there should be one worker in Kogi State who has not earned his complete and full salary on a full scale.
Is it a wise administrative decision for your APC-led government to release another round of bailout funds to a government that has been accused of not paying salaries?
They're worried about the people. The people have not been paid. You see, this is
but the elections are around the corner. Granted, the bailout statutorily belongs to the state, and the government has no choice but to release it. But the elections are just around the corner. Another government may win the election.
You have to be careful.
Why shouldn't your government have been patient, just a little patient before releasing?
Because they say sometimes in fear of death, you commit suicide. Okay? Now, the people must be paid. Otherwise, the bad decision made by the current Kogi State government would put a negative light on the federal government, because they tend to blame every inadequacy on the fact that the money had not been brought from the federal government. Now the federal government has given it to you. Let's wait for the next excuse. Okay? But we know that the federal government has given the state government a long rope to pull. Let's see how you're going to behave this time. Okay? And then they don't want, it's been very competitive between the APC and PDP lately because of certain bad decisions of some people that don't have a shared vision with the APC. Okay? So we managed to lose. Would
you like to tell us who those people?
No, I'm not going to tell you that. But we managed to lose some states because of that. Now, everybody is fed up with that. You can't be in the federal government, you can't be the government at the center, and you lose so much state because some of the states simply don't align themselves with your policies. Now, rather than the federal government take the blame now, you will agree with me that the APC government at the center has done what it's meant to do, giving the workers their full pay. Okay? Now it's now left. Should
there have been other creative ways of administering the funds? Perhaps
I'm sure
paying the workers directly.
I'm sure rather
than
if you ask
leaving
me,
it in trust of the state government.
If you ask me, I'm sure the federal government has put up a lot of agencies to supervise this process. They will not make the same mistake twice. I know the president. He is for good governance, and he will ensure that this money gets to the right people intended, without a doubt.
So back to how you intend to raise funds to actualize your grand capital projects should you become governor.
I told you, I am not going to be revealing that on camera. But I assure you that it will be a life of splendor for the people of Kogi State if we come in within the first 6 months to 1 year.
Okay, lastly now, I'm sure you're just as concerned as other Kogites are about the Ajaokuta Steel Company, which is partially running. What are the creative ways as an administrator and intending aspiring governor to make Ajaokuta run at full capacity?
You see, what must happen in Ajaokuta is that you must create separate business units, SBUs. Now, you have the ones that make the cast, the ones that do the iron, the ones that I'm not familiar with the operations there, but I know they're separate business units. The first thing you must try and do is break them down into those business units and bring in experts and funding from people, from international organizations or other businesses who can afford to revive those SBUs. Now you need to, within that structure, get one SBU to transact with the next SBU, okay? So even before you leave the premises of Ajaokuta, you're already profitable. Because one SBU will be specialized in probably extraction. Another one will be the first stage of manufacturing. The next one will be the next stage of manufacturing. Now, if there was supposed to be some sort of transaction or trade between this, the first 2, 3 will remain profitable up until the last one. Okay, so they must be broken down like that. The problem we have is we're trying to revive Ajaokuta all at once. Okay, it's too big for that kind of thing. It requires a very massive capital outlay. Okay, and nobody can possibly achieve that under these very tough economic conditions.
Do you think contracting it out to expatriates is also the problem? Ajaokuta has moved from the Russians to the Indians and is still not running at full capacity. Do you think Nigerians are capable of doing the job?
I don't have any doubt that Nigerians are capable of doing the job. But the technology was imported from somewhere, okay? Now, you must try as much as possible to bring in the people from wherever that technology was imported from, okay? And then bring Nigerians to work under these people. And then there will be transfer of knowledge. And after 2, 3, 4, 5 years, Nigerians will be self-sufficient. That's the way to go about it.
Prince Mohammed Audu, thank you very much for your time on Fireworks today.
Thank you.
It's been an interesting one. And that's our offering on the program today. We thank you for being there. And we've tried as much as possible to capture all the sides to the Kogi story, particularly those aspiring to be governor. And it's all in the interest of the people ahead of the November governorship election. We promise you another interesting edition, same time next week. On behalf of the crew, I am Bukola Samuel Wemimo.